Everybody loves a bit of tiki-taka, dominating football, even gegenpress, attractive on the eye football. But not many people seem to play hoofball. Yes, I did say hoofball. So what the hell is hoofball? So this style of play is no messing around, getting the ball forward as fast as possible and smashing it upfield. So this, my friends, is the hoofball story, and it starts in League One with mighty Wycombe Wanderers. So why Wycombe Wanderers? Well, there's a few reasons why. Managed by ex-Wimbledon player Laurie Sanchez, they were part of a famous FA Cup run which led them to beat Leicester City in a massive upset. And let's just say the football style was direct. They also used to have the perfect player for this style of football, Adebayo Akinfenwa, an absolute unit up front.
And I hope my story shows that the only opinion that matters is the opinion you have about yourself.
So our goal is to get tiny Wycombe Wanderers out of League One using hoofball, get them into the Championship and get them safe in the Championship. Maybe replicate that glorious FA Cup run. And let's see if we can get a new club legend in the mould of Adebayo Akinfenwa while we do it.
No, not being bragging, 100 goals later.
And the final most important reason that I'm using Wycombe Wanderers for this hoofball story is because it is my wife's nan's team. She's given me this envelope full of info on Wycombe Wanderers, and we're going to use that to help build this club. Alright gang, welcome to Wycombe. I am so excited for this hoofball one, and judging by the response from you lot, you're looking forward to this too, because let's be honest, how many people do you see use that style of play? Never mind try and get some success with it. So we've got a relatively small squad. At this level you're probably going to, so we'll have to wheel and deal a little bit, although I don't perceive we'll have much money. And the main attribute we're looking for is physicals and work rate and grit. So let's have a little look at the squad in terms of their physical ability. I'm going to bring over a custom view. If you're interested in one of these views, I'll put it in the Patreon. Let's go with a physical one. Load that in. So I've loaded in some various physical attributes there, so I can get a bit of a broad range look at the squad. Now if we look at the centre back, so this bunch here, the heading looks good, the tackling looks decent, jumping reach is good. Those are the main things we're looking for them. And ironically, we probably need the same sort of thing from our strikers, because it's going to be in the air a lot, so heading is going to be pretty vital. Jumping reach would be blooming handy as well. And that's because the hoofball tactic looks a little bit like this. You can see we've got a 4-4-2 kind of template with some wingers, defensive wingers, a target forward and pressing forward combination with a double volante. But it gets interesting at the back where everybody is no nonsense. There would be some key players such as Sam Vokes, a well-known player. He's been about a bit. He's 34, but he's an ideal target man. His strike partner Daniel Udo is going to add a little bit of a goal threat. And all the guys at the back literally have one job: stop the goal, boot it upfield. But the entire squad will be absolutely vital because we've been given absolutely nothing and a tiny wage budget to potentially get a free transfer in. So for season one, we're going to have to work with what we've got, and I'm going to go big time on set pieces. Corners without doubt, but a big one for us will be attacking throw-ins, and we are going long ball, long throw-ins. The tactic is set, we're ready for season one. Basically when the boys at the back get the ball, they're just going to boot it up long for the target forward to flick it down. The wingers are going to get it, deliver it, and our two volantes are going to try and defend and attack like maniacs. Let's go.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Now, as the season got going, it was a beautiful thing to see the long throws coming into fruition. By combining the set pieces with those big looping crosses, and of course, a very regular hoofball over the top. At the midpoint of season one, we're actually absolutely flying. Loads of matches in League One, and in January we've already played 27 matches and we sit top of the league. But what's really cool for me is the average possession table. We are rock bottom. Now we're skinned, and in January we lost our one sellable asset in youngster Joe Lowe for 100,000. But I was able to bring in Mark Gee from Chelsea, a striker on loan. Now he's big, strong and tall, so he fits the remit. So with the added boost of that signing and a good run in, we held on, actually finished second in season one, way ahead of schedule. Remaining rock bottom of that average possession table, and with our style of play, rock bottom of the pass completion ratio as well. So a dream first season for the Wycombe boys. We're already back in the Championship, ticking off one of the goals. I am surprised how well this has worked. Now you can see I've chucked a few of the players out of the squad because I already know they're not going to be there next season because of their contract expiring. There's going to be a huge turnover of players this summer, huge. It's pretty mad we did so well because if you look, we played that one formation throughout and our clear-cut chances for and against was -6. So every team had the better of us. We played on the counter and just slapped them on the break. As soon as the season ended, it was worse than I thought and the amount of players I lost was huge. If you look at my squad now, I've got the dreaded grey players, so at the 1st of July, I've got some big time work to do. Now the good news is the board did put their hands in the pocket a little bit and gave us a £1 million transfer budget. We're going to have to stretch that to the maximum. It also means we'll probably have to get another season out of 35-year-old Sam Vokes. So we are back in the championship way ahead of schedule. And the season preview will show you that as well, as we are ranked 23rd at 150 to 1. That was a lot worse before we managed to get all our players in. 14 players through the door, giving us a brand new look squad. Highlights include John Joe Shelby on a free. Same deal with Dominic Iorfa, a 6'4" mountain of a defender. Another defender, 6'3", George Edmondson on a free. And I actually spent money, 100,000 on Jack Taylor, who only a season earlier Ipswich had spent over £1 million on. It meant going into our first season back in the championship, we had a decent sized squad now. Our in transition instructions of counter, take long kicks, lumping it forward to the target man. We're ready to go.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
And I was delighted to see that nobody in the championship had scouted us because the same old tricks were working. I mean, this is poetry in motion. The centre back with a big hoop up front, to the winger with a big looping cross, to the striker with a header. Having said that, this first season back in the championship is all about survival and it was very hit and miss. Look, we're a League One squad playing in a league higher than we should be, and at the halfway point we were down in 16th, 9 clear of relegation. This whole season we played our unique brand of anti-football. And it just about kept us up because the second half of the season was pretty rubbish. Season 2 wrapped with us finishing 19th in the league, 9 points clear of relegation. I mean, it'll do. Look, that wasn't pretty at times. You can see us down there in 19th and we did score 70 times, so positive going forward, but we conceded 90 as well. It's pretty clear we need to boost the quality of this squad big time. But this is pretty wild. Average possession for the season. We didn't finish bottom, but we did finish sub 40% in possession average. 36% just under my face there. 36% possession. That's the lowest I think I've ever had over a season. So I'm ready for the season 3 rebuild. I'm having a little look at the players that we're going to replace if we can. Some of them I'm actually quite happy with. The 2 Volantes are having a great time. Udo up front. This season's bagged 13. Last season he bagged 19, so he's a decent player. He's going to stay as our striker. The rest, work to do. Now the board actually cut our transfer budget this season. Can you believe it? They cut it. So I had to get inventive and I brought in 9 players, spending 0, and that's despite bringing in £1 million as well. Owen Beck arrives on a free transfer from Liverpool to play as a defensive winger. Got ourselves a new striker in Lyndon Dykes, absolutely ideal at 6'4". Now I found the man who I think could potentially be our long-term replacement for Akin Fenwa. This is Ademola Ola Adebomi, 6'3". He's only 22, free transfer from Crystal Palace. And one, I can't believe I got over the line. This is Christopher Wu from Rennes in Ligue 1. He's joined us for free. He's already valued at nearly 10 million. I can't believe he agreed to join us. Oh, and he also signed Kyle Hudlin, the tallest player in the game, I think, at 6'9". Impact player off the bench, you know it. Alongside all the other new signings, I've actually cobbled together a decent squad here. It's definitely better than our first season in the Championship, that's for sure. Our in-possession instructions continue to stay the same. You might think it's a bit weird having focus play through the middle, but bear in mind that the fullbacks won't shift from that position, so if we're going to focus play out wide, our wingers are going to have too much to do. So we're just going to keep it through the middle and keep launching it. So yeah, I'm buzzing with the recruitment. It's decent considering we spent no money, and the media considered us worse than last season. I'm far more confident than the media though, and look at some of these goals. A big looping cross for Dykes. Another classic Wickham goal here, down the right hand side with the winger. Another huge looping cross for Dykes again. Now this third goal is a thing of beauty. It starts with a big lumping set piece, yes, but watch this. Whoa. Those goals combined gave us a massive win against title favourites West Brom, and we're doing our same thing, 40% possession, but we battered them. Next it was time for the FA Cup, and wouldn't you believe it, we drew Leicester City just like the team of the year 2001. And again, just like the team from 2001, we went away to Leicester City and beat them 2-1. Halfway through the season, I was really happy with our boy Adibomi. He's already scored 8 times in 22 matches. And the season as a whole has been electric. Remember, we're relegation favourites, but we are sat 3rd in the league. In the transfer window, however, Sheffield United flexed and took George Edmondson offers for 3.5 million. I replaced him with Ibain Bowert for 400,000 from Fulham, Andros Townsend on a free, and even this man on loan from West Ham, Gianluca Prestiani. Our unique style of play was continuing to baffle the Championship defenders. When we weren't scoring long throws, we were scoring goals like that, balls over the top. With only 7 games to go, we had started to tire a bit, we were still in the playoff positions though. We needed a big win against QPR, and we did the old classic, and then another one of our trademarks. Beautiful. Now a win against Swansea would get us into the playoff final. We're pulling out all the classics in this one. So in only our 2nd season in the Championship, we'd actually made the playoff final where we would face Bristol City.
Are you ready?
But disaster struck after only 7 minutes, a penalty to Bristol City. And it got worse just 10 minutes later as we went 2-0 down. But my boys rallied and got one back after half an hour. And on 80 minutes, we drew level. And then Wickham completely exploded as we got the winner at the 91st minute. What a performance, and check out our possession, we don't need the ball. In an outrageous development, we finished 6th in the league but go up to the Premier League via the playoffs. Now look, I'm delighted, but I'm also very, very worried because we are absolutely in no way at all ready for the Premier League. We lost 14 matches in the Championship. We made tiny tweaks throughout, but these are the boys that got us promoted. Now our boy Adibomi, who we think could be the next Akinfenwa, 12 goals this season. We didn't score many goals, he did really well. And you can see the type of football we are playing. There's only 4 regulars there with an average rating over 7, and only 2 players at the club, because one's out on loan, who got double figures for goals. So quite obviously everyone's delighted with promotion, but the big button here is the budgets for next season, and I don't know where they've got it from, but they're kind of going for it, aren't they? To be fair to the board, they're giving us 32 million to spend next season. Now bear in mind, in the 3 seasons we've been at the club, we've only spent 650,000 and we brought in 6 million. So where have they got this 32 million from? So now we're in the Premier League, and quite obviously this is the impossible dream. It'll probably come to surprise to absolutely nobody that we are bottom of the prediction table at a massive 1,000 to 1. But Mikhail, Saeed and Big Dan had came up trumps and gave us some money to spend, and we wasted no time spending 30 million. First up, free transfer Chris Wood. Target forward, does exactly what it says on the tin. A new defensive midfielder in Ismail Soro, free transfer. 1.4 million for Liam Delap. Brand new goalkeeper, 5.5 million for Bilal Bayazit. From Turkish football, 1.7 million for Renzo Malanza. He's an Argentinian centre-back from Chilean football. 5 million for Tyrese Dolan, who can play up front or wide. And the landmark signing, this is Juan Solis from Girona, comes via Colombia. What a player, Salon values there. It's already valued between 37 and 48 million. He cost me 16 million. What a world we live in when Wycombe Wanderers are spending 16 million on a footballer in the Premier League. So look, we're up against it here. I've had to be quite ruthless. Only 2 or 3 of the promotion winning team remain. I've also moved our boy Adibomi to target forward, so we can put Dolan in at pressing forward. I'm going to go with the same tactic and try and take it to the Premier League. We might drop mentality back now and again, but we're going to give it a shot. There's a few other players in there as well, but the squad as a whole, pretty big now. Look at that. It's probably too big, actually. First game of the season, we had high hopes against Bournemouth, and Adibomi put us in front, but we lost 4-1. We then lost to Newcastle, heavily at Liverpool, heavily at home to Fulham, and again away at Norwich, meaning this was not the start of dreams. So this was always going to be tough, but we did finally get off the mark with a draw against Leicester. However, it's safe to say the first season in the Premier League was pretty brutal. So it forced a mini rethink. We're still keeping the principles of much more direct passing, no nonsense centre backs, and a target forward. In fact, we chucked an extra target forward in there as well. With an attacking mentality, we're going for it. This seemed to really help us. And as expected, Solis had been a right standout. So with the new formation, I made a 7.5 million move for Haji Wright from Coventry. We were starting to get a bit of momentum. Our new signing Wright was making a big difference. And the long for us. After a real brutal start to the season, when it hit January, we won 5 out of 7. We've got a chance here. We're just outside the relegation zone with 11 matches to go. Goalkeeper Bilal made himself a hero with a 90th minute save from a penalty against Liverpool. That gave us an unreal draw against them. And then in our best game of the season, we absolutely demolished Brighton. It meant if we could win our last game of the season, we could stay in the Premier League. Problem was, it was Man City away. We went to the Etihad and we scored twice. The second one coming from Adibomi. I'd love to tell you that was the story's happy ending, but City scored 4. With Leicester winning and us losing away to City, it means we got relegated back to the Championship after one glorious season in the Premier League. Look, not all stories have a happy ending. A bad run near the end of the season. We've defied expectations. We've done really well. This story's been class. We can't leave it that way though, can we? So we're back in the Championship, but we can't really be disappointed because we are flying way above expectations. And the other good news is, if you look at the icons, our boy Adibomi is now there. He is definitely our new version of Akinfenwa. Now, unfortunately, the Vultures circled when we got relegated and Palace stole Solis offers and power went to Villa. We also sold the clutch of other players and we didn't actually bring that many in. We changed up the tactic a little bit. We've got 2 target forwards in our wide target forward and a normal target forward, defensive winger as well. We've got a bit of a hybrid from our first 2 tactics going on here. And after a slow start, we've really started to cook. There was a 7-goal win, a massive 6-goal win away at Coventry, and we just won an epic against Ipswich and we hardly got the ball again. We don't need possession. On New Year's Eve, we're sitting 5th, but we are the form team in the division. And Haji Wright, bought last season, has proved a massive success in the Championship. He's scored 20 so far. Annoyingly, Southampton came in and stole Delap after he was having a good season for us as well. But I pushed the boat out, broke our transfer record and brought in Rocco Simic from Salzburg as his replacement. It means now we've got an absolutely class front line. All of them are well over 6 foot. We continue to plunder goals in through various methods. And the benefit of keeping most of the Premier League squad, we absolutely stormed the league with 96 points. Now this was satisfying. This is the best season we've had. We scored 122 times, we conceded 62, but we were battering teams. Team stats show what we're all about. Crosses completed, crosses attempted, chances created, expected goals for. The only thing you won't see us on is average possession, because despite finishing top of the league, we're still way down in 22nd with 40%. So just like that, we're back in the Prem. We're going to give it one more shot in the Prem. We went for a more aggressive tactic this season down in the Championship. Fullbacks were a bit more expressive. We've still got those no-nonsense centre-backs and we've still got those wide target forwards up front. With the hoofing, one more goal in the Prem. So there is only one goal for this: survive. And for once, they don't think we're the worst team. That's nice. It might have something to do with an epic transfer window, starting with Scott McTominay in from Burnley for 12 million. He'll be joined in midfield by Federico Redondo from Inter Miami, Rocky Bashiri, centre-back from Scottish football, Petrovic comes in as a goalkeeper, Christiansen for midfield, and we've got a couple of free transfers to bulk the squad out, including Lewis Hall. It means now, without doubt, this is our best squad we've ever had. And Adibomi will be with us all the way, club icon. And now valued at 38 to 42 million, by the way. Now, I won't lie, I was obviously pretty worried when we conceded 6 goals away at Man City early on. But my boys are so resilient and we beat them at home. True story, we beat them. We also beat Everton in the 98th minute with that. And one of the best results in the club's history away at Chelsea, and it's fitting that the goal came from this. We also got that good FA Cup run, making it all the way to the quarter-finals, getting knocked out by Newcastle though. And it was really fitting that the last goal of this story, and the goal that helped keep us in the Premier League, was from Adibomi. A much better overall season in the Prem meant we finished comfortably in 14th position, 10 points above the relegation zone. And that, my friends, is a better finish to the hoofball story. You can still have success by slamming it up to your forwards and not worrying about possession. And rather fitting, in our final season in this story, we clocked our lowest average possession yet at 36%. Now that was the final tactic we used. You can see the chemistry was there. They had a good season. They completely overachieved. And it just shows when you get the right players in the right positions, you can play a different style of football. If I had weaker players with that formation, we would have got trounced. So the level of your players is so important in this game. Arguably more so than your tactic. We stuck to most of the team instructions throughout. We tweaked here and there, but the much more direct passing remained. Passing to space, I think, was quite prevalent, as was run at defence, because we ain't going to pass our way through. So the guys that can run with the ball, I was encouraging it. And play for set pieces, I brought that in purely because how amazing we were at throw-ins. But job done. Wycombe Wanderers are now an established Premier League team. Let's hope that Nan's proud.